Hello, good afternoon. It's me again. Today we're going to talk about what I do for a living, which is writing. So, Kenya has been experiencing this blackout. 2 full days, no electricity, which means 2 full days not working, which means I'm literally losing my mind. However, being unable to literally lose my mind, I decided to see in Outlander, Claire travels from 1945 to 1745, something like that. And she goes backward in time, meaning that she loses all the amenities of modern society. So I've just been visualizing myself as Claire Beecham and saying, if Claire could do it, I can do it. I can live in 1745. Yeah. So I try to remember when we used to go to shags in the 80s before we got electricity, and what the hell did we used to do with ourselves, And I couldn't think of anything. Basically, we were bored to death. Seriously. Because apart from, cooking and eating, listening to the radio, which you can't do right now because I don't think they make radios with batteries anymore. There was really nothing to do. Yeah, we were not farmers. I mean, my dad was a farmer, but the rest of us were not farmers. We were just like visitors. And we just spent time hanging out maybe with each other. And that's it. We were bored to tears for 2 weeks, every holiday. Except if we went to the club for swimming or something. So, I was trying to okay, let me try and live this prehistoric lifestyle. My Kindle is off, my phone is off, computer is off. So let's try read a book, right? So I picked up The Dark Tower, the first book in the Dark Tower series, the Gunslinger, the one that was revised and expanded by Stephen King. I've never read it through before because by the time he revised and expanded it, I had read the whole series and I was super mad at him, what the fuck, I think I read this just at the same time as I read Harry Potter. And Harry Potter beginning to end is so everything fits, everything is tied up, all loose ends are tied. Everything is just yes, we went on this quest and the quest ended satisfactorily. For the Dark Tower, we went on this quest and then the joke's on us, there's no quest. It's just some stupid nothing, So then after Stephen King finished that stupid nothing, he then goes to the first book, okay, which personally I felt was perfectly fine as it was, and he revised it so that it would fit in with his nothing ending. So I was really, really mad at him for a long time, but having written my own books, I give him the respect and the leeway to say, okay, 33 years writing one series. First of all, you have the person that started writing that book is absolutely nowhere near the person who finished it. And I guess he wrote the last 3 books to finish it, and not necessarily out of some sort of inspired whatever. He was inspired to write the first 4 books, but the last 3 books he was writing to finish the series. And so you can see the difference. You can see the difference in writing and whatnot, inspiration, everything. I still don't see why he had to make the ending so painful, but here we are. So I started reading it because, hell, it's something to do in the dark, right? And the first thing I noticed, which I hadn't noticed before, was the casual misogyny. All the women are described in relation to sex. The first thing that's described in almost every woman that I have met, and I am now on page 120, depicts her thighs and her breasts. Yes, Alice had a scar on her face, apparently, and it apparently made her ugly. But other than that, I don't think he described anyone's face, any woman's face. They're all about breasts and thighs and how needy they were for some kind of man, Alice, for example. Okay, I was a little ashamed because I laughed at this description of Alice. Okay, forgive me, but it's the wordplay. He said that she started out pretty, but the world moved on. She started out pretty, but the world has since moved on. Like, it's not like there was nothing she could have done about it. It was just like life happened, And personally, in my view, I don't think like a scar can make you pretty or ugly. But her face was in lumps also, apparently. My point is, and then she was extremely horny for, I think, anyone. I don't know. I got the impression that she was horny for anyone. And she begged the gunslinger to stay with her for a few days to have sex with her. Okay. Then the next woman was this huge preacher woman. Her thighs were like slabs, apparently. And her breasts were, made Roland all horny and shit. Again, I don't know what her face looked like. Oh, her skin was creamy though. So anyway, she slept with the man in black, and she thought she was carrying his child, and she was all like, defending him and whatnot. And then there was Intal, the daughter of the mule keeper, called Subi or Scooby, I can't remember, was like, she looked at Roland and pinched her breast and licked her lips like, come hither. And I swear, in reality, even prostitutes. So even Scooby, who was like, seriously, if I think of like any prostitute that I've ever seen, I've never seen them pinching their cheeks or doing any of that shit. Like, the casual misogyny of like, women are in need of men, women, look at men and they want to sleep with them, when in reality it's the opposite that is true. It's just struck me so hard. Like, that's the thing that has struck me so hard about this book. Stephen King knows nothing about women. That's my takeaway from this book. Like, nothing at all. Anyway, so other than that though, he is reminding me of why I used to read Stephen King so obsessively, and it's his invention of language. He just invents the most interesting expressions and words. They're almost English, but not really, and it's a skill that I could never pick up. Like, I've never been able to do that. That's why I don't write science fiction. And the one science fiction book that I was paid to write took me ages, because, oh my God, this whole inventing languages, foreign space stuff, crazy. Another thing that I've noticed about me now is I'm reading this book, and Roland, in my head, Roland looks exactly like Jared Padalecki. Like, I am affected so much by fan fiction that I cannot read fiction without interposing fan fiction upon it. I'm sure when we finally meet the man in black, he's going to bear a passing resemblance to Jensen. And I'm already thinking about writing my own. I don't know. It might be, if I write it as fiction, it might, I don't know what the borders are when you're inspired by another work to write your own, especially when you're disappointed with the ending. Clearly, Stephen King was inspired by Tolkien to write the Dark Tower series and to go on a quest, right? So if I'm inspired by Stephen King to write about a dark tower which is falling, but in my dark tower there's a reason other than nothing, would that be inspiration, or would that be like finishing his story for him? I don't know. But I'm very much tempted to write. I might start it off as fan fiction, see how it goes, and then if it's sufficiently different, I might make it into an original story. I'll see. I have so many stories in my head and only so much time. And KPLC taking away my electricity for 2 days is not helping me at all. I should have finished at least one more book by now. Like, it's really frustrating. I feel like tearing out my hair. I'm just so frustrated. It's so frustrating. Why hasn't someone already invented a solar panel which can charge phones and laptops? Like, what are we waiting for exactly? The sun is shining so hard right now, and solar panels exist. You just have to adapt it. Come on, people. Somebody out there, don't you want to make money? Of course you do. So get inventing. Huh? There's nothing else to do. There's no electricity. I'm gonna stop there. I don't know if I've given you something to think about. If you're interested in writing, It's different when you start reading a story. It's like you can read the story at different times of your life, and it's giving you different things, depending on where you are in your stage of living. I think I can read The Dark Tower now without going like feral with rage over the ending, but also very, very hypercritical of the writing, and I'm just so like I'm not diving into the story. I'm completely removed from it and reading it like I'm his lecturer and I'm grading him, which is weird because it's Stephen King and I'm just like me. And I have that audacity right now. I have that audacity, and I think it's a good thing. I'm not one for respecting. I'm not a respecter of persons. Show me the work and let the work speak for itself. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna bloody say so. I don't care who you are. Anyway, so have a good evening. And let's just pray that this is the last day this month without electricity. Oops, not quite done yet. So I wanted to talk about another aspect of writing and of life, and another thing that struck me about the gunslinger, and that's the concept of time, and how time is not as linear as we take it to be, right? People say time heals all wounds, right? That's not true, because some wounds are forever raw. They're forever raw because it doesn't matter how long ago they happened. The fact is they happened, and they happened to you, and it's still fresh all the time. And other things might have happened like yesterday. Something might have happened yesterday, and you don't even remember what it was already today. And that's how, like the Dark Tower, he goes around asking, so you saw the man in black, how long ago? And people tell him, I don't know, time is different here, it doesn't move the same. It could have been yesterday, could have been 2 weeks ago, could have been 2 months ago, because they're not registering the passage of time the same, right? It's not just, okay, so sun rises, sunset, that's one day. It is one day, but take today for example. Today has been so long, okay? Because there's nothing to do. I've been occupying myself since 4 a.m. in the morning doing stuff, and I feel like this day is just not ending. There are other days which I wake up and then I look at the clock and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I don't know where the fuck the day went, and I haven't done what I needed to do. Mostly it's because I haven't done what I needed to do. So I feel like, God, where does the time go? And when I think about like my mother died. How long ago? My son is 22, which means she died 21 years ago. 21 years. It's a long time to think about linearly. But there are days when it could have been yesterday that she died. I feel like I saw her recently, sometimes I dream something and I feel like it's so real, and it either makes me feel like I saw her yesterday or I lost her yesterday or just now. I still do things with the inspiration of showing it to her. Like, look, Mom, I did this, unconsciously. And she's not been there to see what I do for 21 years. So I was thinking during Christmas that the concept of time that people have is not real. Time is not real, like money is not real. Like everything that we've discovered in the last 2 years is not real, okay? It's an invention. Poverty is not real. It's an invention of capitalism. And I suppose that in the maintenance of order and in the maintenance of capitalism, it's important for us to mark time, to keep time, But these are just really very capitalist concepts. When you think about it, they're really, really very capitalist, white supremacist concepts, and nothing to do with me as a person. Africans didn't even register the day of your birth. They might register the season. They might call you what's born in the rainy season? Is it Odor or something? I can't remember. Anyway, there are tribes which say this is your name because you're born in this season, right? But not on this day. They don't measure your life according to your day. They measure it according to milestones that you will achieve. Which I think is, better. And more realistic, because the false pressure that we put on ourselves to achieve things is from the concept that we are running out of time, right? There's a whole debate on Twitter about turning 30 and turning 40 and missing the bus or missing the boat because you turned 40 and you're not successful, or you don't have as much money as the Joneses or whatever. It's like it's just an arbitrary date. 40 is an arbitrary number. Who invented it? And it's meant to take advantage of your youthful energy for you to be like what's the word I'm looking for? Slaving at your desk from morning to evening, trying to achieve something by this date, because after 40 maybe you don't have enough energy or enough give a fuckness to keep up that frenetic pace. And capitalism wants to milk as much from you as it can in the time that it can. And so it tells you if you're not successful by 40, you will never be successful. It's all bullshit. It's bullshit. I definitely found success in huge quotes after 40. And I say success in the manner of being comfortable and not worrying about my rent or being able to plan holidays and choosing what food I want to eat every day. That sort of success. Not, oh, I'm rich, so don't come steal from me. So Definitely achieved it after 40. After, like, really, it was a struggle. After going through the struggle, that we are all going through. People go through that, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to acknowledge that it's hard. They just want to skip to the part where everything is fine, as Isa said, which is great, but you really can't skip the hard part, because the hard part is what gets you to the easy part. If you skip the hard part, what happens is you go down the rabbit hole of disappointment in yourself, and not being able to face yourself, and drugs and alcohol and women, and basically ignominy. It's true. Happens mostly to men though, because women generally are too busy taking care of responsibilities. The responsibilities of life then fall on the woman, and she has to start thinking about, okay, so how are we gonna eat tonight? And when you're thinking about how we're gonna eat tonight, you don't have time to ponder upon the relative success or failure of your life. Okay, I'm not going to say let me not waste your time, because it's not a waste of time. It's a conversation that I hope we can carry on in your heads and your homes. And thank you for taking the time to be here with me.